Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, I'm super excited to be discussing the future launch of the new Purito sunscreen. You heard it right, fresh from the, let's be honest, slightly scandal-filled ending to the Purito Centella Green Level Unscented Sunblock. They've put that to one side, they've moved on from that, and now we're launching a new product, which I'm sure we'll have so much hype about. So we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about what we know of the product so far, what we can expect, and ultimately whether it's something that we should be excited about, or one of those passes that we probably just should wait and see. So if you want to find out a little bit more about the hotly anticipated new product from Purito, grab yourself a coffee, grab yourself a cup of tea, whatever your preference, and let's talk sunscreen. Now, I'm not going to talk in too much detail about the previous controversies surrounding the two cult favourite sunscreens from Purito. I've kind of covered that on this channel already. I'll leave a quick link to the video if you do want to catch up on that. If you've managed to miss that whole saga, check that video out and it'll explain a little bit about the background. Purito, I think, have been a model company when it comes to overcoming that scandal, issuing cash refunds to anybody. They've been really honest and upfront about what went wrong. They've done a full investigation. They've taken accountability for the errors, and they're moving forward with the new product. I actually think, and I covered this in another video which I'll link up there, that they did everything we should expect a company to do when it's trying to get over a scandal and get over a saga like this, and they really put the consumer first, which I think should be applauded. So I went from being a bit negative towards Purito after their sunscreen failed its testing and thought, this is a brand that I don't want to trust and I don't feel that I should be buying into, to when I looked again at their response to that, totally won me around. And this is really living proof that brands can recover so quickly from a drama, from a scandal, from a controversy, if they just do the right thing. Own up, be transparent, and put the consumer first, and we're quite a forgiving people, and I'm willing to give them a full second chance. I've been super excited to hear more about the future launches of Purito sunscreens, because for whilst their products, this one included, the Comfy Water Sunblock, were removed from sale when they didn't live up to the claims that Purito were making, I do think Purito have an eye for sunscreens and the formulations of what consumers want. So I'll be really interested to see what they do come out with. We don't need to wait too much longer, because it is going to be launching in the first half of this year. So that's any time between now and June before we can get our hands on the product. And they have given us quite a bit of information about what to expect. So let's unpack it and talk about what we know. A lot of the information I'm gleaning for this video has come from various sources, Purito themselves, but also from some insider sources over on Reddit and some other information that's given. So we do have to take some of it with a pinch of salt, and we'll come across that as we go through. So we're expecting the launch of two new sunscreens. Again, I'm assuming that this will be a chemical and a mineral, which is what they had before. I think people like to choose between chemical and mineral, so I like the idea that they would come out with one of both, so you could choose based on your preference. I always gravitated towards this, which was the mineral version, the Comfy Water Sunblock, but people love the chemical version as well. So I think, again, comes down to personal choice. I would be super excited if one of the two actually was a hybrid sunscreen that combines both chemical and mineral filters. I did a video on hybrid sunscreens and why I love them, so I'll leave a link to that up there. Check that out. I think that would be super innovative and would add a nice extra dimension to the product range. So you never know. We can keep our fingers crossed for that, but I expect it to be just a more plain chemical and mineral option. We also know that they're thankfully severing ties with the manufacturer that disastrously led them astray with the first two products that they launched. Whilst I do always say it's the company that has to take accountability, a lot of the issues came about from lies and deceit that came from that manufacturer. That manufacturer also manufactured for a lot of other Korean sun cream brands, and so it led to a lot of distrust in the industry and just is unacceptable. And so I'm glad that Purito have severed ties with that and are going with another manufacturer that obviously they can rebuild that bond of trust with. Most importantly for me, they've committed to putting through each of the sunscreens through two different rounds of independent third-party verification and releasing the data that comes on the back of that. That is super important when it comes to that transparency and regaining our trust as consumers. It was third-party verified and independent testing which picked up the faults in the first batch, so I think it'd be really good to see that. If they wanted to add an extra level of security built in that, I would like to see that done in a number of different locations. So not all done in South Korea. I think it'd be good to see it done in, say, like a European or a North American lab as well, at least one of those tests, so you get that broad breadth of testing done. But again, the promise to release the results is really promising, and I wish that so many more companies would do this. Now, all of that information came from Purito, so we know that's sort of nailed on and guaranteed. There is some other information being shared from insiders that have leaked things and shared things over on Reddit. This is bits that you have to take with a little bit more of a pinch of salt, but it does seem reasonable, which is why I'm including it in this video. So there is some knowledge and understanding that both of the sunscreens, when they launch, will be launched as an SPF 30. Now this has got people a little bit confused. So the previous SPFs were badged as SPF 50 plus. We know they didn't live up to that, but that's what they were badged. And a lot of Korean sunscreens do come out as that 50 plus rating. To come in at a 30, I actually think is a really good move on Purito's part. There are those zealots out there that say if it's not SPF 50 plus, they don't want to know. I always say it's much more important to match your sunscreen to your skin type, your environment where you live in the world, and the UV index, and of course any underlying medical conditions that you might have. These are things you have to factor in when you decide what SPF is right for you. The lower SPFs, the difference between an SPF 30 and an SPF 50 isn't as huge as people actually envisage it would be. There isn't that huge jump in terms of the level of protection that you get and how many UV rays are blocked. That's always worth bearing in mind, because I think a lot of people think if it is an SPF 50, they don't want to know, and that can be a little bit misleading. The reason we love the original two Purito sunscreens is because they had that gorgeous, barely there feel to them, lightweight, hydrating, gorgeous, but didn't feel like we were wearing a mask. As it turned out, they weren't living up to their claims, and that's because it's really difficult to formulate an SPF of 50 or 50 plus in that lightweight formulation. This has actually been covered on a different channel over at the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences. I'm going to link that video up there so you can check it out as to why that's the case. So I actually applaud Purito for saying, do you know what people want, what our consumers want, is a lightweight, elegant feel to the product. And so to be able to deliver that in a safe, verified way, we're going to formulate an SPF of 30. This will work for most people. If you live in an area of high UV index and you have a very fair complexion, then obviously this might not work for you. But for most people, for day-to-day use, running errands, in and out of the office, that lightweight SPF 30 is probably going to be preferential because it blends beautifully with the skin. You can put makeup on top of it, and it is just really suitable for that day-to-day wear. So I kind of applaud Purito for going down that line, though I do know it will upset a few people that like to go for the SPF 50 plus or nothing. To me, it's more important that we have a product that is verified, independently tested, and you know you're getting the SPF value that's on that bottle, rather than always going for the highest SPF and just hoping for the best. So with this, the transparency, the testing, and the SPF 30, I think it will be a really, really good product. Like I say, we're expecting it in the first half of this month. It's obviously going to be a cruelty-free product because that's in keeping with the cruelty-free ethos of Purito, which is one of the reasons I love them as a brand. The price point, I imagine, will be the average mid-market price point that most Purito products are at, and I would hope that it'll be accessible here in the West through sites such like Look Fantastic and also Style Vanna, which is where I get a lot of my Purito products from. We'll wait and see where it does launch, in which territories it launches first, but I am super excited, and you can guarantee that I will be the first to get my hands on these products when they launch. I'll do a full wear test, demo, try on for you guys so that you can kind of see how it will work with the skin before you splash your cash and get your hands on the product. I love Purito. It is a full forgiveness situation when it comes to Purito because I think they've really upped their game, and they should be used as the gold standard, ding ding ding, total professional way of dealing with a scandal, a drama, or a controversy. They just turned it on its head, and I think I have so much more respect for them as a brand after that as a result of the way they responded to it. So let me know your thoughts and feelings. Share below. Are you excited for this launch? Is it just another SPF that you might try but it's not world changing or really exciting you? Leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. What are your wider thoughts on Purito after the sunscreen scandal? Share them below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and look after your skin. Take care. Bye.